Welcome to another edition of Mind, Body, and Spirit. I'm your host, registered dietitian Karen Kowalik. March is National Nutrition Month, so today's show is all about food. What's exactly good for your health seems to always change. Dietitian Karen Beets from the American Dairy Association Mid-East joins us with an update on the new Dietary Guidelines for Americans. And seniors in our area participating in mobile meals will be dining on some fresher options. I'll have more on how these meals are now being prepared from scratch. And finally, National Nutrition Month is a great time to shake things up in the kitchen. Fresh, roasted, baked, boiled, or sauteed. We're talking beets. Executive Chef John Selick from the Ahuja Medical Center is here with some new twists on this popular salad bar staple. All that plus my health tip segment coming up next on Mind, Body, and Spirit. An update on the Dietary Guidelines for Americans has just been released. You may be familiar with this as formerly the Food Pyramid and today known as My Plate. Joining us today is registered dietitian Karen Beets from the American Dairy Association Mid-East to talk about what's new and how the recommendations influence our dairy consumption. Welcome to the program, Karen.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, are there any major changes that consumers need to be aware of with these new guidelines?
I think one of the biggest changes they did is they have now 3 healthy eating plans. Really the focus is for us to eat nutrition-rich foods and beverages as opposed to focusing on what we shouldn't eat. So those 3 healthy plans that we should follow is either the U.S. Healthy Eating Plan, which has been around for a number of years, the vegetarian version, because we know a lot of people are vegetarians, and then what's been added this year is the Mediterranean version, and that's based on the research over the years in terms of looking at the Mediterranean diet.
How does this influence our dairy consumption? Do the servings stay the same?
Interestingly enough, they did with the healthier U.S. eating plan, they are the same. It's 3 servings when you're 9 and older. It's going to be a little bit less when you're ages 4 to 8. It's going to be 2.5 servings, and then 2 to 3, it's 2 servings. And that's the same that's true with the vegetarian eating plan as well. What changes is when it comes to the Mediterranean, which is new. The research for the Mediterranean diet has only been done on adults, so the recommendations are 2 servings per day. They also do identify that if you do follow that Mediterranean diet, you will not get that needed calcium and vitamin D because of that lower number of dairy servings. But all of them are going to encourage nutrient-rich foods and beverages.
Now, you mentioned the vegetarian eating pattern. What about people who are lactose intolerant or they don't like dairy products? What are their options to fulfill that requirement?
Well, that's a great question. When it comes to lactose, lactose is the naturally occurring sugar or carbohydrate that's in milk. And sometimes people have difficulties digesting it. And so what they can choose to do is, there's lactose-free milk in the grocery store. It is regular cow's milk, just the lactose has been removed, so it has the same nutritional content of vitamins and minerals. Also, we find that with cheese, such as the Swiss cheese and aged cheese that I have here, that's going to be usually well accepted because it has a lower lactose content. And then also yogurt with live active cultures are much easier to digest for individuals that may have some difficulty digesting that lactose. So there's a variety of different dairy foods for individuals to choose from and still get that package of vitamins and minerals in their diet.
You know, I was surprised when I was looking at the report that almond milk is not considered a dairy source or rice milk. Only soy milk was the substitute for someone who might be a vegan, I guess.
That's right, and actually what we find, there are many different beverages that are popping up in the dairy case, and they do not have the nutritional equivalency in terms of vitamin and mineral content as you get with cow's milk. There is only one identified, and that's a soy beverage that's been identified that it has the nutrient content that's similar, but overall it's recommended that you consume dairy instead of the alternatives just because of the natural nutrient package that it delivers.
Now, for people who might want some alternatives to milk, I think one of the most confusing things is for consumers is, how do I know what is an equivalent? Like if I have you say 3 cups a day of milk, well, does yogurt count? How much cheese? Can you share with us how much cheese would be equal to a glass of milk?
Absolutely, I get that question asked quite often. This is an 8-ounce glass. When we talk about milk, it's going to be 8 ounces of milk. And often when it comes to yogurt that's in this container right here, it's already prepackaged in the store. Most of the yogurts are 6 ounces. And so usually we say 6 to 8 ounces. This is about 7 ounces right here. So somewhere in between that is going to give you that same nutritional equivalent. What varies though, and what's different, is you look at this glass of milk and then you see these 3 pieces of cheese. Or if you want it prepackaged into a portion size, something like this. When you think about it, you take out all the fluid and you're taking the milk solids, and that's what cheese is. It's really a dense compact of all those milk solids and all of those vitamins and minerals. So the portion size is much smaller. So it's going to be about 1.5 ounces. So what I have here is a 12-ounce serving of cheese or block of cheese. So think of that you're going to get about 8 servings out of that cheese. Most time people might think it's like 3 or 4 servings, but it actually is 1.5 ounces, and it's going to be closer to that 8 to 9 servings in that package.
Is the calcium the same?
Absolutely, it is the same.
Really?
It's going to be the same amount of calcium. What varies though is I have cottage cheese over here. In Ohio, we actually are the 2nd leading production of cottage cheese in the country here in Ohio. People are surprised to know that. But it's really a good source of protein. It's not a very good source of calcium. So quite often when we talk about those 3 servings, we talk about milk, yogurt, and cheese. Cottage cheese is great for the protein, but it may not have that calcium that you're looking for that you're going to find in the other 3 dairy products.
You know, when we talk about dairy products, you bring it up in conversations with friends, it's often an area of controversy. There are some misconceptions that people might have. They feel very strong about their dairy. What does the research show about consuming dairy each day? Well, actually, the health benefits.
The Dietary Guidelines really specifically identified in 2010 and again here in 2015 that there are 4 nutrients we underconsume, and they're calcium, vitamin D, potassium, and fiber. So if you look at calcium, vitamin D, and potassium, dairy is the richest source of all 3 of those in just one food item. Put it on some whole grain cereal in the morning and you've got actually all 4 nutrients of concern that we don't get enough of. So they really did identify we underconsume dairy, but the reason we need to consume it is because of those rich nutrients that we're not getting enough of.
And the calcium and potassium is so important. When I do nutrition counseling, everybody's always short on calcium and they're always short on potassium, and that can affect our blood pressure, our bone health, so it's really important to get those nutrients in.
Absolutely, and they also identify that eating those patterns and specifically having dairy included, you can lower blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, maybe reduce the incidence of type 2 diabetes. So again, a lot of people don't think of potassium in milk as a good source of that, but it really is, and it does add, in addition to any fruits and vegetables that you're eating along with it, for that potassium source.
And if you don't eat fruits and vegetables, it's really hard to get it in. It's one of those nutrients that is low for everybody, and you really got to follow the food plate in order to get that potassium in.
And what I find about dairy that I think is interesting is you can consume, or you can eat it or drink it just as it is, or you can use it as an ingredient. And it also pairs really well. You know, I pair it here with fruit. You can pair cheese with crackers, whole grain crackers. You can make milk. You can use oatmeal to make milk with, or you can do pudding. But it can be an ingredient or it can be a standalone. And so I think that's what makes it really easy to get dairy in your diet in terms of those 3 servings every day.
Well, you've just provided a wealth of information. How can viewers get more information about dairy if they want recipes and nutrition information? Where can we go for that in Ohio?
Sure, you can go to our website, which is www.drink-milk.com. We just redid our website, brand new in January, so great resource, has all kinds of information, all the way from farm, family to food.
Thank you so much, Karen.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And I want to let our audience know, if you would like to meet Karen and find out more about dairy, the Dairy Association is taking part in the Nutritious and Delicious Gala this year, being held at the Tangier Banquet Hall in Akron. This is a healthy dish competition. It's a lot of fun that local dietitians put together to promote National Nutrition Month. And for more information on that, you can go to www.eatrightakron.org, and we'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.
So they say it's a man's world? anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Home-delivered meals prepared for seniors and shut-ins has not always had the best reputation for taste and quality. However, in our area, mobile meals entrees have recently received a makeover. What was once a menu mainly of frozen and canned items, local seniors are now receiving meals prepared with fresh ingredients. Joining us today is Executive Chef Paul Ackman from Red's Place Catering of Twinsburg, who is part of that change. And welcome to the program,
Thank
Paul.
you for having me.
How did Red's Place in Twinsburg get involved with mobile meals?
We got involved really wanting to make senior meals better. We wanted to deliver something from scratch, homemade, and just deliver a fresh product every day.
Now, what's your background and how did you personally get involved with making meals for seniors?
Actually my background is really more of a fine dining restaurant background. I got involved with the company with Red's Catering and Innovation Foods, starting with school production meals, and we wanted to branch out and not only just deliver that great from scratch fresh meals to schools, but also to the elderly and the seniors.
Now, we have to talk about this because our audience isn't here right now, but this entree you brought smells amazing. Can you tell us what this is?
Sure. So today we have a seared skirt steak with a fresh chimichurri sauce and a Parmesan risotto. So it's the chimichurri sauce, which really makes the dish, is all the flavor, is fresh cilantro, parsley, garlic, red wine vinegar, and just a little bit of salt. It's really bright and fresh and brings out a lot of the flavor in the steak.
This is something that mobile meals, a senior will get a meal like this?
Yes, absolutely. All of our meals are very similar to this. All of it's a fresh protein, fresh starch, and then some sort of sauce that complements the dish and brings out the natural flavors of everything. You
know, I'm surprised that it's almost funny that we're having a conversation that it's novel to use fresh ingredients, especially for a vulnerable population like seniors. They should always be getting the best quality. Why do you think that for many years different types of these home-delivered meals have been maybe substandard?
I think a lot of it has just got to do with trying to figure a way to put a full meal together. For the seniors, you've got to have a lot of components to a dish. So you've got to have starch, you've got to have a protein, you have to have a veg, usually a fruit and some sort of juice or milk kind. And all that is very costly. So to get it all done, a lot of people, you just find the easiest way to do it. For us, it's not about that. For us, it's about providing these people with the best meal possible and doing whatever it takes to put that meal out there.
Is the cost similar? Is it cost more to make a meal like this? Is it just more time intensive?
I mean, it can be costly depending on the products you use. It's all about sourcing out the correct products and just putting it together in the right way, in the right fashion. So.
Now, I know you're in the kitchen. Have you had a chance to see the reaction of any seniors eating the mobile meals?
Unfortunately, I have not seen it, but I have gotten some great feedback. Actually, the best part of doing this so far was our first day with them. We had several compliments come back to us about how great, how flavorful everything, how tender it was. So I've gotten to hear it. I haven't actually got to see it yet.
You mentioned your background is fine dining. Did you ever think you would end up in this area?
I was always hoping to come back to this area. I did not necessarily think I would be in the senior meal business. I always thought I would be the fine dining steakhouse type of person, but I absolutely love it. It's great to be able to provide such a quality product for people who don't necessarily have that every day. So it's fantastic.
Has it changed you at all personally?
Absolutely. You know, my family and my folks are getting older, and to know, to see that we can put out a product like this, and hopefully other companies or other programs will adapt the same philosophy of putting out such a quality product. It definitely changes my opinion about what people are eating, especially our seniors, you know, that they should still have that variety of something fresh and flavorful. So absolutely changes it.
What are some other ideas brewing in your head for senior meals? What can we expect in the future?
We do, you know, right now we've got a lot of things on the table. We actually like to involve a lot of different culinary cuisines too. So we do some Asian dishes, some French-inspired dishes, a lot of Italian dishes. It changes. We actually do a menu every month for them, so they get the variety of every month. It gets to change for them.
And if there are any seniors out there watching or loved ones of seniors who might want to connect with you, how can they reach you for more information on this program?
They can go to ifsmeals.com. That's our website, and they can check us out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
really
having me.
I appreciate you being here, Paul. And I want to let our audience know if you would like to sample this dish, Paul will also be a chef appearing at the Nutritious and Delicious Gala at the Tangier Banquet Hall in Akron. This is a healthy dish competition sponsored by your local dietitians to promote National Nutrition Month. And for ticket information, you can go to www.eatrightakron.org. And we'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
March is National Nutrition Month and a great time to try something new. Beets, which probably are not on the top of your list, should be, according to our next guest, Executive Chef John Selick from the Sodexo University Hospital's Ahuja Medical Center is here to show us how easily we can add this sweet flavor to sides, salads, and entrees. Welcome to the program, John.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know, when most of us think about beets, when you told me you wanted to do something with beets, I was thinking the salad bar,
Right.
but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, the sad thing about the salad bar beets is they're always from a can. And I think a lot of people don't like beets because they have the salad bar beets and they're just not very sweet, they're earthy, and don't taste really good.
And we don't realize that they come from an actual vegetable most of the
Right,
time.
right. And you know, they're actually very sweet and delicious, and there's different varieties and colors that you can get. And you know, the salad here is the most popular restaurant style salad in the world right now is the beet goat cheese salad.
Really?
I think it's officially replaced the Caesar salad as the #1 salad on restaurant menus.
How did you prepare this?
So this is a salad of marinated beets that I have at the bottom. So all I did was boil them until they were tender and pull the skins off, sliced them, and marinate them in a little bit of vinegar and some olive oil. And we also have raw beets here that we shaved really thin and just sort of crisped in water. So it's a combination of raw and cooked. And, you know, served with roasted walnuts and goat cheese. Everybody's doing this nowadays. And you know why is because goat cheese on anything tastes delicious.
Well, you know, I notice here we think of beets as just being red, but I see multiple colors.
We do. So we have, you know, your standard red beets, but there's also yellow beets that we have here. And these are also becoming widely available. I see them at Whole Foods all the time. And in the summertime, they have the tops on them, which are also edible and still very delicious. And you just treat it like spinach. You know, cut them off and saute it or whatever, and you can eat the greens as well. And there's also these candy stripe beets, which they look red on the outside, but then when you cut them in half, they have this incredible color in the middle. So, I mean, how awesome is that?
That is. Is there a taste difference between these?
I think they, you know, and at the end of the day, they all taste like beets, but there's a level of sweetness that I think really makes them different. The red is the sweetest to me, and then the yellow is a little milder than red beet, and then the candy stripe beet, to me, is just the mildest. But in the end of the day, they sort of all taste like beets.
What is the trick to getting it to look as nice as you've got it here? Because I can't even imagine, how do you get them sliced so thinly? How do you get the peel off?
So I think people are intimidated by beets because they don't know how to cook them, and that's the easiest part. I like to cook beets like a potato. Just throw it in a pot of water, I turn it on and boil it until it's tender. And then I let them cool down, and now, so here you have a cooked beet. And So these, now that it's February, these are like cellar. These beets were stored in the cellar, so we don't have the tops on. But you cut the top part off with a knife
After you've boiled it.
After you boiled it and cooled
Okay.
it, and the skins just pop off with your fingers.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So you can wear gloves, especially if you have the red beets. The red gets everywhere, but with the candy stripe of the gold, they don't bleed as much. So wear gloves when you're dealing with the red beets. And then I just slice it down with my knife, real thinly. I mean, you could cube it and hit it with a little bit of vinegar. I like the wine vinegars, red wine or sherry wine, white wine. Balsamic is fine, except the color changes. You can still taste delicious. And some good olive oil, and just let it marinate for like an hour in the refrigerator. A little salt and pepper, and it's ready to go.
Now, besides salads and being marinated, what other ways can beets be incorporated into your meals?
So once you cook them, you can add them. You can eat them hot. You can warm them up with like a little bit of butter and maybe like a little bit of vegetable stock, and just sort of cook that till it gets hot. You can add them with other vegetables. They go really good with potatoes. They go good with other, carrots, other root-style vegetables. The only thing it doesn't matter is I like the yellow beets for things like that because, like I said, the red gets everywhere and everything looks tie-dyed. And it's fine, but from my chef standpoint, I like everything to be real clean.
You like the appearance.
Yeah, I just go for that.
To look
but
good.
Everything tastes delicious, and the reason I think it's so important for beets, besides all the nutritional information that you've shared with us, is just eating more vegetables is healthier for you.
Yeah, and I was surprised when you talked to me about doing this segment. I went to look it up, and a cup of beets has 442 milligrams of potassium, and Americans need 4,700 milligrams per day. Everybody's always short. Anytime I do nutrition counseling, they never are taking enough of that. So adding beets can definitely knock that out, and 3.8 grams of fiber and a ton of other vegetables and minerals.
Right. So
who knew?
Yeah, delicious. And they're, like I said, they make sugar out of beets. So, kids love carrots. I'm surprised kids don't like beets as much as they like carrots because I think it's a delicious vegetable.
Can you eat them raw?
You can. This beet here, like I said, I shaved it really thin on the mandolin, and it's not as sweet raw. Like the flavor, the sweetness really comes out when you roast it or boil it. So this is really earthy and really nice, but you absolutely can eat it raw. It changes the texture and everything. That's why with this salad, I did the beets 2 ways to have different textures and flavors.
So we can do just everything with it.
You really
Saute
can.
it, roast it, boil it.
I've made beet brownies before.
I saw that on the internet. I saw that there were after we talked about this, 31 different ways to use beets. I was shocked.
Yeah. So it's a very versatile vegetable and delicious on top of it. And beautiful. The color is great.
Yes. How can people reach you if they want more information or just want to stop down and try some of your food?
I am the full-time chef at the Ahuja Medical Center, so I'm there Monday through Friday, sometimes weekends. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm at the Nutritious and Delicious Gala on March 3rd.
That's right, that's coming up. And if our viewers would like more information, they can go to www.eatrightakron.org to buy tickets for the healthy eating competition, healthy dish competition, not healthy eating. You're going to win. I hope you win. Thanks so much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Karen. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
You taught him how to hit a baseball. Just like that. Say hi! How to hit a receiver. Nice. The strike zone. The net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Welcome back. In today's health tips segment, I thought I would talk about the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, which have just been released. An update occurs every 5 years and changes are made based on nutrition research. The goal of the guidelines is to provide the public with a healthy eating plan that will hopefully prevent obesity and ward off chronic illnesses. You probably best know the dietary guidelines via choosemyplate.gov. This is a report that is used to create that website and those recommendations. So what's remained the same from previous years is the message is still the same: consume nutrient-dense, a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Two interesting changes this year involve coffee and eggs. The new guidelines now state that moderate coffee consumption of 3 to 5 cups per day can actually be part of a healthy diet. In addition, it's now okay to eat eggs. The guidelines limiting cholesterol to 300 milligrams per day actually has been dropped from this version. An egg, incidentally, contains about 213 milligrams per egg of cholesterol. So now it's okay to go beyond that 300 milligram limit. Cholesterol is no longer considered a nutrient of concern. The focus is now on saturated fat, which is believed to trigger the body to produce more cholesterol. Saturated fat is found in animal products mainly, and red meat and whole milk are going to be higher in saturated fat. Eggs are actually very low in saturated fat. They contain about 1.6 grams, 5 grams of total fat. They're low in calories, 75 calories, and high in protein, 7 grams of protein. So when you combine a couple eggs with a slice of whole wheat toast in the morning, that's a really great breakfast that will keep you feeling full longer, because anytime you combine protein, fat, and fiber, that slows down the absorption of your food into the bloodstream, and that will keep you feeling full for many hours to come. And if you would like to get more information on the dietary guidelines for Americans, you can go to health.gov/dietary guidelines/2015 and read the report for yourself. There's a lot of great information there. Well, that's it for this edition of Mind, Body, and Spirit. I'm Karen Kowalik, reminding you to eat more whole foods, keep moving, and stay positive. We will see you next time.